in another episode of Open for Discussion. And I'm super excited about speaking with this young lady that I'm speaking with today. She is a boss, she's an author, she's a speaker, she's a media mogul. She's handling her business in down there in Florida and across the nation with what she does. She is amazing person. But before we get into that conversation with who she is, I am C. Maurice Ball, the host of Open for Discussion. Kick that intro, and then we're going to be right back with the discussion. Well, well, well. For y'all, I'm introducing to some and presenting to others this amazing woman right here, Miss J West. How are
Yes,
you doing today?
absolutely. I am doing wonderful. Absolutely sensational, to be exact.
Sensational.
Yes, sir.
That's all right. How
Life
how
is
do how,
great.
how, how does one become sensational?
Well, I can explain it. Thank you for asking. Absolutely. Let me tell you, Maurice, every day we create our reality, right?
Hmm.
Every day that we wake up, we have an opportunity to be better, to do better, to be more. When God wakes us up, my first thing out of my mouth is thank you, God, right? And then after that, I say to myself and to God that it's going to be an amazing day because I decided that. So that's the first decision that I make when I wake up. All right. So this morning, I decided to be sensational. It's just that simple.
It I rock with that
It's,
100%.
yeah.
I do. Because when I get up, the only option that I have is awesome. Everybody like, why are you awesome all the time?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I give myself any other option or put another option on there that's lesser,
Right.
my human nature is just gonna say go with the lesser of the two.
Right.
Why? But
Right.
if I'm just gonna be awesome because somebody might need my awesomeness today.
Exactly.
Somebody
Exactly.
needed your sensationalism today. Somebody needed your smile. Somebody needed your presence and your grace. So you showed up and touched somebody, and they was like, "Man, she's amazing, and
Right.
she probably smelled good too."
Right.
It was
Oh,
like,
you better believe it. It all goes hand in hand. Oh yeah.
it's like,
Trust
what kind of perfume was that? So
trust it.
Miss J West,
Yes. Hmm.
where are you at in the country? You're in Florida. What part of Florida are
I
you
live
in?
in Miami Gardens, Florida, which is near I'm in the city where the Hard Rock Stadium, where the Dolphins play, Miami Dolphins. Go Dolphins. Yes.
Are you a Dolphins fan?
I'm a Dolphin fan due to proximity.
Got you.
I'm not a sports fan. I'm a girly girl, Maurice. I love shopping. I love fine dining. I love traveling. I love, you know what I mean? I love being a woman in my essence, right? So
Okay.
I don't really get into the sports, but hey, that's what it's about.
I mean, you right there. You might as well like the Dolphins. It's like, and they're not bad.
Hmm.
They,
It depends on who you asking.
well, I mean, they could be worse. They could be the Carolina Panthers,
Okay, well, I don't know. So the
which
Carolina
is terrible.
Panthers are worse than the Dolphins?
You work with the Dolphins?
They're worse than the Dolphins, you're
They
saying?
way worse. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
way worse. So Miss J,
Hmm.
so Miss J, what what is the what is the thing that keeps you going?
Oh, that's a good question. What keeps me going? That's a loaded question, Maurice. So what do you mean? What that keeps me going? Give, give me a little bit more. Expound on that for me.
Expound on that.
Yes.
What is the thing that you just say, you know what? I know you say you wake up and you're gonna make your day sensational, you're gonna make it great.
Hmm.
But what's the driving force just behind your drive?
Okay.
What is the what is that piece that created the woman that you are
Okay.
now.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Now that okay, that's a little bit more specific. So what motivates me, I'm going to tell you, your trials and your tribulations are what make you who you are, right?
Hmm.
So like I've been through a lot of challenges in life. What really motivates me at this point is because I'm a servant of the people. I believe that we're all put on this earth to be servants, right? I'm a servant of the people. So I went through an abusive relationship, well, a few abusive relationships, just in all full transparency. And I would never really question why, because it's like I would never question why me, because why not me? You understand? However,
Hmm.
I did have a question as to how long I was gonna go through this. How can I endure this? How can I get over this? How can I ultimately get out of this? Right?
Hmm.
So going through those abusive relationships after I was over it, and hindsight is 2020, and I look back and I realized that I was put here to help women and men who are going through those type of challenges. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, going through that abuse, it made me stronger. It made me determined. It made me more focused. I was more hungry to succeed, and I just wanted more. So my motivation came from directly from my pain. So I turned
Mm.
pain into power, and I'm just walking in my purpose. So that's what it's about for me.
Pain to power to purpose.
Yes, sir.
Woo. Okay. 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 So you saying now growing up, what was some of the like did what were your relationships based off of something that you seen growing up? Was that the is that what validated some of the abuse that you said, okay, hey, this is going to be acceptable, or
Right.
this is this is okay?
Right.
Was it learned, almost like learned behavior?
Right. Absolutely. It was absolutely learned. I saw a close family member endure several abusive relationships, and then it would be chaos that particular day with the fighting, the screaming, and I witnessed actually the engaging of the fighting and stuff. But the next day, Maurice, they would be like lovey dovey. They would be like newlyweds. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
And and he would be catering to her. She would be catering to him. It was like a love story, that you saw in movies. So then I saw this repeated over and over again, and I was like, oh, it was interesting because I'm like, so I associated that type of interaction, that type of dysfunction, because that's what it is, that type of abuse that I learned to be abuse. Um, I equated that with love, right? So
Right.
so when I started dating, if the guy got jealous and he like pushed me or shoved me, that meant to me, I translated that into, oh, he really loves me, he really cares about me, and he really wants to be with me. So absolutely a learned behavior.
Wow. Um, Now, what was that something that as you were like your friend circle, right?
Mhm.
As you were kind of growing up, was anybody saying anything in that situation as you was growing up? Was somebody saying something to the person that was the example, and they chose not to listen, and so it just became something that was ongoing, or were people speaking, trying to speak into that person, and you seeing that that person just rebelled against whatever advice that was being given?
Okay, are you speaking about the abuser?
Yeah, the abusee. So your
Okay, you,
example,
you saying the couple that I witnessed going
yes,
through this?
the couple that you witnessed. Hmm.
Oh no, absolutely not. No one was speaking to that person because the 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 victim was living in silence. The victim was not telling anybody. Nobody knew. In
Wow.
front of people, he was loving, he was caring, he was catering, accommodating, and all of the
Mm.
things that you would want your mate to be. You know what I mean? The
Hmm.
abuse happened behind closed doors.
Mm.
So there was nobody there to save her, so to speak.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
Then, so as you transition into like middle school, high school, was what was some of your things that you were into growing up? What were your what were some of your like? excitement things, or I see you if you're into fashion. So has you always been into fashion? Is it
Yeah.
something that you always loved? Is
Yes.
traveling something that you always loved? As a eighth grader or a 10th grader, what was the career path that you were saying, hey, I'm going to be president?
Right. Right. The president of the United States. Well, I never wanted to be the president of the United States. But growing up, I was involved in like extracurricular activities. I was a majorette. I was a cheerleader. And I always was into, like you said, fashion. Yes, I was always into fashion. Like at 12 years old, I started working at 12 years old, Maurice, believe it or not. I
Wow.
worked at a summer program and I was assigned as the secretary of the Community Action Agency, CAA. I never forget it because I actually worked there for 2 summers. And during that time, I wore heels at 12 years old. I had matching pumps with the button-up shirts and the pencil skirts back then. Oh yeah, I was on point, and that wasn't necessarily taught. I just knew it. Yeah, and I don't know. I just knew it, and that's how I was supposed to represent myself. It's really kind of funny when I think about it, but yeah.
You said at 12 you was rocking heels
Oh,
and a oh, okay.
I had them in every color. Oh yeah,
Okay, okay, 12-year old boss. She
yeah,
was holding down the fort at 12 years old.
yes sir.
Now, in that 12 year it being 12,
Mhm.
being 18, um, what was like what was your career path? You're where you are now. We're going to kind of work our way to where you are now. But what was your original career path?
Well, originally I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be an R&B singer. I
Okay.
always loved the stage. I've always loved like the spotlight, being the attention, performing. So I was in a group called Shades of You with two other young ladies. One young lady, her name was, they called her Strawberry. Her stage name is Strawberry. And then I was with another young lady, Amina. So it was Jay, Lady J, Amina, and Strawberry. And we were Shades of You. Shades of You because I was darker complected like chocolate. Amina was bright skin and Marion was like brighter skin. So it was like three different shades of the African American people. So Shades of You. That was the name of our group. So that was my initial path, and we had some great times. We had some fun. And listen, a fun fact: we actually did an opening for Usher. Usher was a kid then, right? He said, he just did the Super Bowl, about a week ago, and he showed out. But Usher was a kid. The crowd, we did a show in Miami Beach, and the crowd was more interested in us, Shades of You, because we were local, known locally. And he
Uh-huh.
came, he was like, "Who is this little kid?" You know what I'm saying? Because I think he may have been, I don't think he was, maybe like 16, between 16 and 18 years old at that time, and he wasn't known in Miami. So yeah, that's a little fun fact that I just remembered when I was just talking about it.
And what happened with what caused y'all to go separate ways? What was the breakup?
Yeah, with Strawberry, when you're in a group, Maurice, there's when you're doing shows, she was kind of like the Beyonce of the group, to be straight honest with you. Because she had been performing much longer than Amina and I. So we were more newcomers on the scene. So she was known around Miami. She had done a few songs, a lot of shows and stuff like that. And when we would go to do shows, we would be pursued by other managers or agents to do solo, right, contracts when we had
Hmm.
signed as a group. So eventually she took it upon herself to break our contract, and she went and she pursued a solo career. All right. And she had one hit song, which was really good because she was really a good entertainer, beautiful young lady, and she did well locally, but it didn't translate to globally.
Hmm.
So of course we had to end our contract because we were a group, and at that point, a three woman group, but at that point we couldn't honor our contract. So that's when the contract went null and voided. She went and did her thing, and that was that.
Were you heartbroken?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. It was very upsetting, very disappointing because that was all I wanted to be from a little girl. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I used to sing in talent shows. I used to make up talent shows with my cousins during the summer. So yeah, I was very much heartbroken. So then I had to think about what do I need to do next. Then I got pregnant, then I had a child. So now I gotta, feed this baby.
Right.
So yeah,
Life happens.
life happened. Yes.
Life was lifing. And
Yes.
so, at what age did you become a mom?
At 19.
Okay.
At
That's
19 years
that's
old.
that's not. I mean, that's fairly. I mean, it's not
But
like
at 19,
16.
living at home, uh, no career. I wasn't ready, but I got ready.
Now so you had these hopes and these dreams and these aspirations
Mhm.
of being a R&B group, and e- everything is riding, and y'all starting to see some success and start to make some waves,
Mhm.
and then a piece breaks off. Did you feel like she destroyed your dream?
Um, I wouldn't say I felt like she destroyed my dream. I felt like that dream was pretty much over with. I just felt like it was over with. I was very upset with her. We had several heated conversations after that. I won't tell you the choice words that I used, but it wasn't pretty. All right, and I just after a while I just had to let it go. But nobody controls my destiny but me. So at that point, I had to decide the next point of contact over the next thing I wanted to do. That it was just that simple.
So as a young mom, what was your transition like? How did that hit you? You're sitting here thinking like, okay, now I have to make a major shift. I have to
Mhm.
go from limelight to grinding.
Right.
What was that like for you as a young mother?
Right. Well, shortly thereafter, well, I had my kids in quick succession. So my kids are like 2.5 years apart. So I had my son at 19, and I had my daughter at 21. So at that point, I knew I had to get a career. And my mom always taught me you got to get a career with benefits, paying well, and so that you can retire. So that's what I started to look for, and that's what I pursued. And I was fortunate enough to get into a career that was very lucrative, paid very well, and allowed me to really to prosper in that. Mhm.
That's awesome. So you're a mom of two. You have the baby girl, and you have the baby boy,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Man, that's good. Are they good are they good siblings?
Uh, are they good siblings at this point? Or you mean
I mean, now, yeah. I mean, they're older, so I'm
they?
pretty sure they are. But
Yeah, yeah, they were okay. They were okay. They were okay. Hmm.
were you a tough mom?
Yes,
No nonsense.
I say I was because my career path, Maurice, was law enforcement.
Uh
So paramilitary, very structured, controlled, organized.
huh.
So
Ooh.
I think a lot of that was brought into the home. So somewhat.
So they woke up to taps and saluting with the 45-degree angle on folding the bed. You could bounce a quarter off of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they got a lot. They got away with a lot too because I worked a lot. I worked a lot of double shifts, so they got away with a lot, and they spent a lot of time with my mom. So mhm.
Well, I mean, support is very, very important, and I think that at a young age, that as long as you got a support system,
Important.
that
Hmm.
regardless of, you might not have got immediately on your feet and like immediately, but be able to have somebody there to just say, hey, we're going to push you along. We're going to
Right.
help. You don't have to worry about A, B, and C.
Hmm.
We're going to take care of it. That takes a lot of pressure off, because I'm pretty sure you encounter a whole bunch of young women who don't have that, maybe getting it from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Having that support system meant the world. It allowed me to study because when I went to the academy, that's is very demanding, physically and mentally demanding. So having that support system with my mom, my family, my aunt, it really made it much easier for me. And absolutely, because I saw a lot of women in the academy, they were struggling. Even the men, they were struggling as well because they did not have that support system. So yeah.
Well, that's tough. So you became law enforcement. Were you still in the area that you in now, or were you in another state, another area?
No, I was still in the same area, still in Miami.
Okay.
Hmm.
So did how did you how did you like that, as far as um was it something that you were passionate about? Was it something that you took and say, you know what, I really enjoy this? Like, was it something that you enjoyed?
No, not
Okay.
at all. Not at all. Maurice, I worked in Dade County Jail. All right.
Oh, Dade County.
Dade County. Okay. So it was very challenging, very stressful. So I didn't like it. No, I didn't like it. But the money, because at that time we were like the third highest paid department in the US.
Mm.
The money was good. I'm a young girl. Um, my first year, I doubled my salary. I was making so much overtime. You know what I mean? Yeah, making 5 6 figures like at 21. It was nice.
Oh, 5 or 6 figures at 30. So did in that journey, and as you put, because you had to become a certain person to kind of be in that lifestyle, right? Like,
Yeah.
there was a, did you ever lose yourself,
Mhm.
and like lose who you were and who you are, and the things that were things that you cared about? Did you ever lose those things and had to really go on this long deep search as to, like, wow, like, what am I here for?
Yeah. Did I ever lose myself as far as in the career?
Yeah, in the career.
Okay. Well, you know what? I was very cognizant of not losing myself because
Mm.
so many relationships, I saw them end because there were a lot of couples in corrections, because the men and women, you're working together all the time. So there were a lot of couples, dating and married couples. And I would see the divorces, happen. I would see the very much disrespect in the relationships. And the man would always say, "You acting like I'm an inmate," and you would hear them arguing about that. So I was very cognizant not to bring that persona home, right? But at the same time, like when I'm home, I'm soft, I'm gentle, I was catering, I'm a loving, I'm affectionate. So I saw it like acting. You know what I mean? Like an actor, when an actor goes to play like a killer, a thug, a bank robber, somebody in a movie, that's not who they are in real life. You know what I
Right.
mean? So when I would go to work, I transitioned into the officer, the person who was in control of another person. I told them what they could, when they can eat, when they can sleep, when they can move, when they can talk. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to be that person coming home. But I'm gonna tell you, it's so funny. When I would go to work, Maurice, I would have to listen to Tupac because I would have to go into that space. And you,
Right.
you, you ever heard of the rappers 8 Ball and MJG?
Oh, what you know about 8 Ball MJG Orange Mound? Come on. Come on. What you know about that Orange Mound?
So I would listen to Tupac and 8 Ball and MJG going to work. And then when I would be on my way home, guess what I would listen to?
Kurt Franklin.
Gospel. Gospel, yeah. Because I had to come back from that,
Right.
that image. I promise you. And it's all a mindset. And everything in life is a mindset. So yeah, when I would ride home, I would listen to gospel. Yeah.
That is That's crazy. So you listen to, I'm ambitious as a rider. You listen to Coming Out Hard, 8 Ball, MJG, Space Day. Those was my guys though. When I
Yeah.
was when I was into when I was into rap,
Mhm.
that was my thing. So you did the corrections thing. Did you write your first book while you were still in corrections, or did you actually transition? Had already transitioned out of that?
No, no, actually, I was on midnight shift. Most of my career was on midnight shift. So
Mhm.
I actually wrote 2 books in corrections. Yeah, because on midnight shift at about like 1 o'clock, we would shut the unit down because I would work directly with the inmates. So at 1
Mhm.
o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, they would have to go to sleep. So from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, what am I doing besides doing my hourly patrolling? You know what I mean? So I would take advantage of that, and that's what I would do. I would write. So I wrote 2 books while working in Miami-Dade Corrections. Yep, yeah, I can't do nothing about it now. It's too late. Yeah, I was on the job. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the officers, when my first book came out, they was like, "Oh, she wrote that book on the job. Oh, we gonna," they wanted to report me to internal affairs, and I was like, whatever. You know what I mean? So it was really that's why I didn't really promote it like I did, like I should. So everything's coming full circle, so that it makes sense. But back then, I was afraid to promote it because it's adult content. It was
Mhm.
contradictory to my being an officer. You know what I mean? So intimate
So
information. So I had to like step back from it once they got wind that I had written the book. Mhm.
let's talk about that first book. What's the title of that first book?
The first, the title of the first book is
Uh-huh.
"The Cheating Guide from a Woman's Point of View."
Mm,
There you have
interesting. Hmm.
it. Mm.
The cheating
You're all up
guy.
in my business.
The cheating guy
Yes.
from a woman's point of view.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure it got some really good content in it.
Hmm.
So, what prompted you to be able to write that book? Like, there had to be something that prodded you to write that book. And what was the driving force behind that?
Uh-huh. That's a good question again, Maurice. You got it. You keep it coming. But yes, absolutely. The motivation behind the book was being cheated on. Being
Hmm.
cheated on by the man who confessed to love me, said that he would never cheat. When I caught him several times, he said he would never do it again until he did it again. And I subsequently became a cheater, and I was so much better at it. I felt the need to help my fellow man. You know what I mean? Because he never knew that I cheated on him.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's normally how it happens. She said I was better.
Right. Right. I was better at it. Now, listen, now I got to say this. This is a disclaimer. I'm not promoting cheating. I'm not saying cheating is okay. I'm not saying, because trust me, before I wrote the book, men and women was cheating. After I wrote the book, when I was writing the book, they was cheating, and they still cheating right now.
And they still
Okay, so
cheating
don't
today.
don't don't put it on Jay West that I'm promoting cheating, because I'm not. All right?
Well, that it's a learned behavior, and you wrote a book to help your fellow women out, like
No, it's for the men. It's for the men.
oh, it was for the men.
It's to help the men learn how to cheat better, because women already do it the best.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So
I got a
okay.
copy right here. Let me show you. So they can get this on Amazon. The cheating guy from a woman's point of view. We're trying to help y'all because, listen, and I cheated out of necessity, Maurice. It wasn't. I don't think women by character, by nature, that we're cheaters. I do not think that. It was a survival mechanism for me. It was a form of feeling validated, feeling needed, being wanted by somebody. You understand? Because
Hmm.
the guy that I was living with, the one who confessed to love me and not who wasn't supposed to be cheating or said he wasn't going to cheat, he was doing that. So he was breaking me down. He was hurting me. I had been betrayed. So when I would go out, I would get the compliments from men. I would be pursued by men, and I wasn't getting none of that. No accolades, no compliments, nothing from the man that I needed it from. So it didn't mean anything from the man on the outside. So note to fellas, compliment your woman, okay? we need it from you. We don't need to hear it when we go on the streets, okay? We don't need it from nobody else because it means nothing. However, after being repeatedly cheated on, after being talked to and verbally abused, I engaged a gentleman and I became a cheater. But inevitably, I had to go back to being who I am and who women are by nature, being that in
Hmm.
a monogamous, committed, honest, loyal relationship. So, of course, I had to end those outside relationships and ultimately end the one that I was in a committed relationship with because he wasn't going to change. And right now, today, let me tell you, he's the same dude.
And that has, I mean, like from a man standpoint of, I was one that was in the game as well,
Mhm.
and I couldn't imagine being 50 and still rolling in the game like that.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
can't even, like that doesn't even sound right. Like I still feel some kind of way when I see cats my age sagging pants,
Mhm.
and like, did we not outgrow that at
Right,
some point? At
right,
some point, you have to be able to change. So
right.
you became an author, and you've written
Yes,
4
sir.
books,
Yes, sir.
and I'm gonna put all your books up and with links on with everything to your Amazon pages and everything, so that people can actually go out and buy
Okay.
them. Did it spit now that you are in that realm, now that you have written that book,
Mhm.
and did that spark something like a passion with inside of you? Like did the writing, not the what you wrote about, because it's just part of what you wrote about, but
Right.
did the writing the book spark a passion which prompted you to be able to push out other products about from writing?
Right. Yes. Well, absolutely. I think I've always been a writer, Maurice, because when I was in the R&B group, Strawberry and I were the ones to write our songs.
Okay.
Her and I
Okay.
co-wrote a lot of songs. I wrote some individually, and she wrote some as well. So that was going to comprise our album. Was going to be comprised of our writing. So I've been
Okay.
writing for like all of my life, as long as I can remember. So the spark was always there. I just channeled it in a different way, um, and into to my books. So and writing the books is a form of catharsis for me. It's like therapy for me because all of my books are nonfiction, real life stories. I interviewed other people because I don't want the books to all encompass just my life stories. So I
Hmm.
have other people's stories in there because I believe everything is a collective order of things. It requires all of us to have some input on things to make it more well-rounded, the conversation and the information. So yeah, but the spark has definitely been lit. So
That's I think that's awesome that you find you have this passion that was writing songs.
mhm.
And in writing those songs, I'm pretty sure you got notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks of songs that you still
Woo,
have written right
yes.
now that you could
Mhm.
probably turn into poems and and things like that.
Right, right.
That when the songs, the R&B and the performer part stopped,
Mhm.
that you could that it did not kill your pen,
Right. Oh no,
that
it was still
that
there.
you
Yeah, and like you said, I have like notebooks and notebooks. If I pull out some of those notebooks, I probably could sell the songs to some R&B singers right now, some new artists coming out because it was really some good stuff that we wrote. Like I said, co-wrote together, and some songs that I wrote by myself. So yeah. Mhm.
I think that's amazing.
Mhm.
So you've written 4 books. You're a mom of
Three,
2, a
three.
mom of 3.
Yes, I had a third child, a daughter.
So you got, oh, so your baby boy is spoiled.
No, he's not. He's the oldest, so not really.
Not really.
No,
No.
nope,
Ah,
no,
being the only boy, he don't get the only boy privilege.
nope.
Oh man,
He had to get the big brother privilege and take care of his children.
that I got. Well, I got when I meet him, I got to give him some love. I'm the youngest of 3, and I'm the only boy. So life
Um,
was different for me.
right. And you're the baby? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's boy magic all of, I was the
Nice.
favorite out of my siblings. My parents probably won't say that, and my sisters and them probably won't say that. But to me,
Yeah.
yeah,
But you know the truth.
yeah, that's right. They love me more. They just, now,
Yeah.
as a parent, I only have one, so I can't really answer this question because of course he's my favorite because I only have one.
Right, right, right. You only have one son. Yes.
So I mean, I won't get you in trouble or anything like that. But do you have a do you have a favorite?
No, I don't have a favorite. I don't. No. Not no, not my children. No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Way to stay neutral, mom. Way to stay neutral.
Because the boy is the boy, and then I have the daughter, and then my daughter, my first daughter, and my baby girl, they're like 8 years, 8, 9 years apart. So like
Oh yeah.
they're different.
So coming out of high school, so she was the baby. She was pretty much home by herself without, I mean, or at least a little bit, especially when they were in high school. You
Right,
talking about
right.
eight,
She was like
nine?
right on, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Right.
So by the time she got in high school, they were in college
You're going right. So
doing
you
grown
feel me?
folk
Right,
stuff. So
right.
she was actually able to be the only child.
Right.
So
You
she's
got it.
probably spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what people say.
And you know what?
That's what people say.
It's okay, mom. You can say yes.
That's what people say. I don't know.
Well, we have to ask her, be like, "You are you spoiled?" And she probably be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah,
And the other
yeah."
kids say that too. She's spoiled.
So so at what point did you start to say, you know what, I want to expand my empire. I want to start adding more Legos to this piece to what I'm doing. What prompted that wanted you to to start to build Queen Up Media Group and all the other branches of business that you're currently in?
Mhm.
What was the piece that said, hey, you know what, let me start building this? What prompted that?
Oh wow. In 2017, 2017 was, I think, I would say that was one of the most challenging years of my life. 2017. At that time, I was going through I was fighting for my marriage at the time. 2017. I was fighting for a rightfully earned promotion on my job that I had been denied. I was what else I was going through? Yeah, so fighting for the marriage, fighting for the promotion. And then also my son had gotten into a situation, so I was fighting for my son's freedom. So
Wow.
so I was fighting, yeah, they were three coexisting traumas in 2017. And then a fourth one was added when I was going through that, and I didn't really share that information with my close friends at the time. So they decided to do their go and put on their 007 hat, and they found out that I was going through. I was separated from my husband, and they decided to do some things via social media. So I was betrayed by some people, women who I considered my best friend at the time. I've forgiven them at this point. We're actually good. Um, but I the friendship ended. It was a collection of 60 years of friendship. It was three people, and we were like 20 years plus friendships, and I was just so devastated, right?
Hmm.
So I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know what to do with that because they knew I was going through the fight on the job for the promotion. They knew I was fighting for my son, and then they didn't know about the marriage was about to meet its demise, and they went behind my back and they did that, and they found out. So they did, and like I said, they did some things via social media that was very disheartening and disrespectful to me. So I prayed. I wanted to respond in kind via social media. I wanted to go there and get raunchy and get in there and do that kind of thing and do that banter and do a lot of things on social media. But I said, no, that's not my character. That's not, I'm a lady. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. That's not my persona. That's not my personality. I prayed, Maurice, for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I asked God, how do I respond to this? How do I deal with this? God, you got to handle this. You got to do this for me because I can't do it in the flesh. I can't do it on my own. You gotta tell me how to do it because I have to respond via social media, but you gotta give me guidance on this, God, because I can't let this
Mm.
go. You understand? So, and I was in my bed and I'm about to get chills and I'm probably get a little emotional. I was in my bed, Maurice, one late night. Now I'm a single woman. I'm in my bedroom. I'm sleeping, and I hear something in my mind. When people say, "Do you believe that God speaks to you and you can hear Him?"
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So when I was laying in my bed, I'm sound asleep. I heard the words "Queen Up," right? So I was asleep and I was in a twilight sleep. I started to wake up. I heard it again, "Queen Up." Right? So when I sat up in my bed, because now I'm scared because I'm like, I know I'm the only one here. You know what I'm saying? Why am I hearing this voice? Who is this? What is this? And it almost sounded like me. It was like my voice. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
so I didn't. I'm like, what's going on? So I sat up in my bed and I started seeing words pouring down on me: encouragement, sisterhood, love, respect. I saw like I was like having a shower of words come down on me. This may sound crazy to some people, but this is my experience, right? So I saw these words pouring down on me, and I started crying, and I just started praising God because I know it wasn't nobody but God. So the next day I went to work and I asked one of my officers who did t-shirts. I said, I need some t-shirts made. I wanted to say queen up. I don't know how I want it, but I know I want queen on top, up on the bottom. I want a crown, but I don't know how I want the crown. Give me a couple of samples of how the crown would be situated on the cube. So she did that. I made like 50 shirts. Maurice, those shirts sold out in like 2 days. They bought the shirts. And in Queen Up Movement, which is the umbrella all of my other companies fall up under. That's the empire, Queen Up.
Wow.
That movement.
So
So that's a women empowerment platform with a focal point on domestic violence, with a special heart, a special place in my heart for domestic violence survivors and victims. So Queen Up Movement is levels to this.
there's levels to this. Let me level up. Come on.
Level up.
Let-
So it's all about leveling up, Maurice. Trust me. Pray up, listen up, marry up, boss up, move
Come
up,
on.
stay up. So everything's up.
Preach up in here, preaching. We preaching up in here. Come on, preacher. Come on.
Everything is up. Okay. Yes.
So you said something, and I probably should have led this whole conversation off with this question, but this question is just a at 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 what point did you said you have a strong relationship with God, right? Have you always had a strong relationship with God? Was it something that you fell into because of certain circumstances or situations? Um, was you raised in having a relationship with God? What? How did you have? Why is your faith and your belief system so solid right now?
I think as long as I can remember, I've had a relationship with God. My aunt who raised me, she went to church every Sunday. She didn't require us to go to church every Sunday, but we went often. But I just always believed in a higher power. I always felt him with me. And like when things were happening in my life that were tumultuous and painful, and I prayed, I'm telling you, that thing would be removed. It would be dealt with. So I had no alternative not to believe. You understand? Because I was
Hmm.
shown who he is. You understand? And I had to learn how to let God be God in my life, you know?
How
And I
hard
didn't
was
handle
that?
things myself. I just let him handle it. Like that, that the reason why Queen Up Movement was born, because I said, God, you got to handle this. I can handle it. So I've always had a strong relationship. I've always known, that he's with me. Mhm.
How hard is it for? How hard was it? It's probably a lot easier now,
Mhm.
because you have history with God and you know His track record. But how hard was it in the beginning when you didn't know how faithful He was?
Mm. It was hard, and like I said, I never really questioned why me. I just my just concern was like how long was this going to last, and but I did want to know why I was going through it, and because I was a good person. You understand? I was a
Mhm.
good person. I was living right. I didn't tell lies. I didn't curse at the time. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't out in the streets. So I just didn't understand why I was going through it. I didn't question him why, but I just didn't understand why I was going through it and why he chose me to go through this. But I understand all too well now, Maurice, that there is victory in the valley.
Oh, come on. It is
So,
victory
so that's
in
what
the
it was about.
valley.
Yes.
You know, it's those valley moments, though, that really allow us to see
Mhm.
His grace.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure there's a probably 101 stories that you could tell me of God's grace. Probably I know way more than that because it's grace renewed every day,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And um, it's those valley moments where sometimes you're just looking to be like, I don't even believe. Because in order to get to this valley, unless it's your first valley, you had
Mhm.
to go through some other
Right.
valleys, you know.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
so
Right.
so to be able to take those valley experiences and be in another valley and go back and say, you know what, when I was in the valley before, He was faithful.
Right.
He was faithful.
Right.
He was faithful. And
Right.
it's almost sort of like when David said before he stood and fought Goliath, he was like, I remember the lion and I remember the bear.
Mm.
And now who is this uncircumcised Philistine standing in front of me? So we have those moments
Hmm.
that that you just like, okay, God, wow, you're just so amazing.
Yeah.
Cause
But I gotta tell you, I gotta share this story with you. I gotta really share this story because you're tapping in and you're touching on something, and I need to share this story with you. And this is for my queens. This is for my kings too, but this is specifically for my queens. When you ask God for something, make sure you're ready to receive it. All
mm,
right. Make sure you're
mm.
ready for that thing because he may not come when you want him to come, but he's always on time. All right. Trust and believe. So I gotta share this with you, Maurice. I was going through a bad breakup, right? I was on an emotional roller coaster. Like he would, we'll break up, then we'll make up. We'll break up, then we'll make up. And I said, God, you gotta help me in this because the flesh is what's calling this thing, keep bringing this thing alive. You understand? Because I want him in that way. You understand? So I said, God, you got to take this love, this love that I feel for him, this want, this desire. You got to take this. You got to take this from me. And it took several months, but I prayed. I prayed. I don't think I prayed so hard, but something in my life. I said, God, I want this man out of my life. I'm tired. I'm hurting. He doesn't mean me any good. He's not. I'm not worthy. He's not worthy of me. And I was doing laundry, Maurice. I had already kicked all the stuff out, all his clothes. He was, everything was gone. But apparently, one shirt was left in the laundry. I was in my garage going through the laundry, picking out the laundry. The colors and the whites, you got to separate them. So, so it's only right. Right? We were taught that, all right. So I'm separating the stuff, and then I pulled out one of his shirts, and then I smelt his cologne on the shirt, and it had no effect on me. Normally, I would when I smell his scent because when you love somebody you smell like their sweat. You smell it. You could be in an elevator and all of a sudden you smell but dang, you just
Yeah.
you can smell it, right? So before I would like start crying. I would be so hurt. I would be longing for him. That would make me call him, and I would invite him over, and that cycle would just repeat itself. But Maurice, when I pulled that shirt out and I smelled that cologne, it was very pungent. It was evident, this was his shirt. Looked at the shirt, nothing, nothing at all. I looked up and I started crying. I said, God, well, none. I just started praising him because I knew I was done with that relationship. I was done. I was finally delivered, okay, from that situation. And it was because it was very bad, very dysfunctional relationship that I was in. I had no business being in that relationship, but yeah,
Well,
he's
well,
very
sometimes sometimes God will show us the signs on the front end, and we don't pay attention
yeah. Yep.
because sometimes we're in love with the idea of being in love,
Right.
and, and we hide those red flags,
Mhm.
and then it's those same red flags
What
that
red
come
flags?
right. Yeah, right. I don't see that flag.
What red flags? I didn't see no red
He's
flags.
not walking around with a whole bunch of them.
Mhm.
No,
Right.
but
Right.
but you have the insight now to be
Mhm.
able to share with women that you need to pay attention to those things.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't
I'm a
ignore it.
firm
Who he
believer
is.
that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go
Mhm.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Well, who he is who he's gonna be down the road. My mom told me. My mom said that Negro who he is right now today. He's gonna be that same guy 20 years from now. But I didn't want to hear that. I was like, she don't know what she talking about. She ain't been in love like I'm in love. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. Listen to your mama.
Oh, that wisdom. Boy, don't that wisdom
Woo!
sting. My That wisdom sting. My dad said the same thing about my college girlfriend. He said, son, she gonna hurt you. And I'm like, you don't know, Dad. I love her. Okay.
This
And
the
now
one.
then when he did and he wasn't petty, but
Mhm.
when it happened, he didn't say, see, I told you, son. He didn't kick me when I was down.
Oh wow.
He did a great job of of
Wow.
kind of trying to
Yeah.
pushing me along. But
Right.
I
Yeah.
I've, I've been in that space where I didn't want to listen and I didn't
Hmm.
want to see the red flags.
Right.
And so yeah. So now you holding down the Miami-Dade County area and surrounding areas, and got
Mhm.
even probably got some clients that are nationally and
Mhm.
doing things like that.
Mhm.
And you just did a major event. Let's talk about your event that you just did for MLK.
MLK. Well, Queen Up Media. What we did, we were correspondents for the MLK festivities committee. So we were part of that. So we just did. We participated in all of the events. So it was a weekend experience. It's the MLK weekend experience. All right. So it started from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and ending on Monday, which is the parade. So on Friday there was a what was on Friday? Oh my God, I just drew a blank, Maurice.
Comedy show.
Right, the comedy show. Thank you. There was a comedy show in Little Haiti. It was headlined by John Hitton. John Hitton from Living Single.
Okay.
He is hilarious. I didn't really know he was a. I guess I might have known, but I've never saw him perform stand up. But man, that brother is funny. Okay. Oh man. So we did that. We were in the building on that, did interviews. The guests, they were elated and they enjoyed the comedy show, which was really a good show. And then on Saturday, Grant Cardone Foundation, he hosted Bob Duggan, who is a multi-billionaire businessman, philanthropist who travels all around the world. And he's promoting the 24 characteristics that all geniuses have in common. So that was the theme of that at Grant Cardone's foundation, which is right here in Aventura. That was really well attended by the youth because we're teaching, they're teaching, and we're partnering on financial literacy. So that was a major thing that happened. And then on Saturday night, Grown Folks Night Out with Chico DeLeo and Terry Ellis. There's some creators and some movers and shakers here in Miami that do a Grown Folks Night Out for the grown folks. So that
Yeah,
was
you
nice.
got to be grown
You gotta be all the way grown.
all the way. Yes,
You gotta be all the way grown.
especially when your
And
kids grown.
huh?
When your kids are grown,
You
yeah,
gotta be grown. Yeah, yeah.
you could be grown, grown.
You've grown. So it was really good. It was really good. And then Sunday, an amazing play by playwright, author, producer J.D. Lawrence. Okay, it was called Schizophrenia, where he
Mm.
played multiple characters, a one-man show, very funny show. He's taking his talents to Broadway. So y'all gotta check that out. Schizophrenia by J.D. Lawrence. Check that out. Talented brother. And then of course on Monday was the amazing MLK parade. Yeah, hosted in Liberty City. Mhm.
Well, not only are you a successful businesswoman, you're a successful mom. I'm pretty sure your friend group love you. We just met, a month and a half ago, and I'm like, like you my peoples now. So,
Right, that's right. Right, we
um,
connected.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I enjoy listening to you talk about your life,
Mhm.
and well, so what do you got coming up? What's on tap?
Well, I don't have anything necessarily coming up, but what I have in the works already is my podcast, Queen Up Chronicles Talk One, which is on YouTube. There are 16 episodes on there. And on the podcast, what I do is I promote Black and minority owned businesses. I do celebrity interviews. I go to restaurants. I do like food reviews, and I just spread the word all around the world, all around the world. So that's another one of my missions, Maurice, just to support our own, because I believe that we're stronger together. Everything that we need is in our community. So that's what I do on the podcast. Because I'm an event host. I host like weddings, retirement parties, birthday parties, engagement parties. I do that as well. Mhm. So y'all got to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Queen of
Subscribe to
Chronicles
her
Talk
YouTube
One.
channel.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Follow
Yes,
her on all her social media, and I will put all those up so that y'all can know what to look for. But
awesome.
this has been really, really an amazing time, and I just enjoyed this conversation, and that this was I hope you have fun, or
Yeah.
just kind of just spending time just hanging
Yeah.
out with me for a few minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely. And I got to close it out. Before we close it out, Maurice, I got to talk about my Queen Up Movement and Leadership Academy. All right, my
Okay.
nonprofit organization. We're dedicated to young ladies 10 to 18, and we're teaching all things womanhood 101. So that's what that's about. So you can check me out on queenupacademy.org on that. Yeah.
That is awesome. I'm gonna pull that up too because you know we might we might be able to do some other things
Yes, sir.
outside of
Yes, sir.
outside of what we're currently working on. I got
Yes, sir.
one last question for you,
Mhm.
and this is my question that I just like to ask this question, and it because it's a question that I put a lot of thought into, and it is, what is something that you didn't pay attention to early on that you had to learn the hard way?
Okay, that's another loaded question, Maurice. What is something that I didn't pay attention to early on, as far as
Just in life, what is something that you would wish that early on in life you would have paid it a little bit more attention to,
Mhm.
but you didn't, and you had to learn it because life had to teach it to you.
Okay. Well, let me respond in this way. I wish I knew or understood how valuable I am, how
Mm.
important I am, how worthy I am of being treated nicely and special and taken care of and catered to. And I wish I knew that I was important. I wish that I knew that in a relationship I should be treated a certain way. I wish that I knew I didn't have to accept being treated less than.
Mm.
So I wish that I knew that, yeah, that I'm me, because after all I am Jay West.
You are Jay West, the one and only Jay West.
Yeah.
And so you just had you value really is what you're saying,
Yes, sir.
that you wish you knew your value earlier.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Wow.
Hmm.
That is an amazing, that's an amazing thing to close this thing out with. And again, I appreciate it. You got anything else you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
That's pretty much it. But always stay up, man up, woman up, sister up, marry up, boss up, live it up. All right, it's
And
all
be
up.
up. Hey, y'all been
And clean
chilling
up.
with C. Maurice
Wear your
Ball.
crown always
Put
in
your
the upright
crown
position.
on,
Crown on.
crown on. You've been chilling with me, C. Maurice Ball, and Miss J West from Queen Up Media, Queen Up Movement, Queen Up Academy. She's doing big things in your area. Go follow her, subscribe to her, support everything that
Sure.
she got going on. If she does anything in your area and you hear the name Jay West, pull up on her, show her some love, and
Yes, sir.
we are out. And I love you like a play cousin. And until next time,
Thank you.
we are out of here.
Thank you.